This Autodesk Fusion tutorial shows how to quickly add support structures to your drawings in Fusion. Often we need to add triangles, which is one of the best and strongest structures out there, to our objects so they don't break. Remember, all you need to know in mechanical engineering is triangles are strong, L's are lame, squares are so-so, and circles are awesome but hard to work with. So here we have an L, and we want to make it less lame, so we're going to add a triangle. One way to do that would be to go ahead and construct a midplane. Click Construct Midplane, select this side, then we can select this side, creates a midplane, then we sketch on this plane, then we can press L, draw a triangle. We can even draw these extra lines. Sometimes you can project those in. We can constrain this to the object here. Then we can press E and extrude this. This is fine. And we join and we have a structure there. But that's a lot of steps and it can be fragile when things change. So if I go back to this sketch and I edit the sketch and I move this piece over, delete this perpendicular constraint, and I move this over, finish the sketch, and now you can see that this does not update. Of course, if I would have projected in that, so for example, if I edit this sketch, we'll delete everything here, press P, project in this face, okay, press L, and then I could draw this shape here, finish the sketch, and now it does update. And if I go back here, edit sketch, I can move this a little bit further. And since it's projected, it should update. But if I move it too far the other direction, for example, if I move it this direction and finish the sketch, it no longer has that triangle action going on there because of the way the extrude worked. So I'm going to go back in time here and show a different way to do this. So let's delete these two options. The rib command doesn't even need a full triangle. We can bring our construction plane back. So here it is in the middle. Let's create a sketch right on this rib. And I can draw a line that is just in the middle. It doesn't even need to connect because this connects if I extend the line. If I have the line up here and extend it out like a laser beam, it doesn't connect. But if I have it like this, it'll be fine. I'll go ahead and finish this sketch. Then under the Create menu, I can select Create Rib. Select this line. Then I can decide how far to go in this direction. But in addition to that, I can also choose a distance this direction. So I can choose down and I can make these cool options like this. And look at all that extra geometry that is automatically solved for me. And I didn't even have to deal with it. Right now, it defaults to the thickness direction of symmetric, but I could have it go all the way to one side if I wanted to as well. So this is a really nice option. And sometimes you need to flip the direction of the line. So if I, for example, here it's going this direction, and if I flip it, now it's going down on the line, depending on how it is working. If I press OK, and I go back to this original sketch, edit the sketch, bring this down farther, finish the sketch, it automatically updates. That's really great. And of course, some of that could be achieved with projecting, but with more complex forms, it's very hard to get project to work that way. Edit this sketch again. We'll move forward all the way. The rib survives having this acute angle when the projected sketch did not survive. Let's look at another example where the rib really shines, because straight lines like this isn't so hard to do. Let's look at an example where rib really shines. Here I have an object, and if I create a midplane through it, I can select this part, and it'll make a midplane in the middle. And if I draw a sketch, create a sketch right here. Traditionally, if I would press P to project, I can project in both of those forms, and I get this line right here. I can draw my triangle. So let's say I want to make a rib from here to here to here to here. Press E. And when I extrude this symmetrically, you're going to notice a problem right away up at this top curve. As I extrude out, I don't get any connection here. And often what we'll do is we'll go and draw the triangle a little bit further, but that's a lot of work and it is prone to having mistakes. So this is a very hard geometry problem to solve for adding supports around a curved structure. And this is just a curved circle. So this would be pretty easy to fix. But what if this was a spline or some sort of irregular shape? I'm going to press cancel here. And let's delete this sketch. I'll delete that sketch. And now let's try it with rib. I'll bring the construction drawing back by clicking the eyeball, create a sketch right on this construction plane. Now I'll press L for the line tool and I'll draw a line just like this and press the check mark. Finish the sketch, then create rib. And look at this. If I have it going towards the object, I can make it much thicker. Look how it wraps around. Isn't that really great? So I think this is a really great way to use the rib command to add structures around curvilinear objects. And then I can also have this just be a distance and it still wraps around this complex form. So the rib is a really great way to automatically have Fusion solve the geometry for your circles and curves without having to draw triangles and extend them and make lots of different joints. Hopefully you can use the rib command in your 3D modeling in Fusion to add supports where you need them very quickly. Happy 3D modeling.